Okay, so I want to talk about Black Caribbean men in the UK because I don't think there's anyone else talking about them. And I know this sounds strange coming from someone with African descent from Sierra Leone. However, I was doing research into gender inequality and something strange happened. What I was expecting to see was a big gender inequality gap, which I did see in every other demographic except for in the Caribbean. So when we talk about forgotten groups, here is an actual forgotten group, Caribbean men. And I don't think this is by accident. I think this is by design, and the data proves it. Because while we talk about gender inequality, here's a stat that doesn't get nearly enough attention.
Listen, people.
Women now earn more than Black Caribbean men. In every other ethnic group, men earn more. Whether that's white, whether that's Asian, whether that's mixed, it doesn't matter. But with Black Caribbeans, the script flips. And this isn't new. It's been building for decades. Today, 31% of Black Caribbean women in the UK are managerial roles. For the men, it's just 22%. At GCC level...
Let me pause this. Let me pause this.
Yes.
So, that's a fact. You remember when we done that, has the Caribbean progressed or regressed?
Yes.
And we spoke about in the workplace, man's not being a threat.
Come on.
People got at me for that. A lot of girls were like, no, the men just haven't worked hard.
No.
That's not the case. In the workplace, the sisters, they go through their struggles, but you're given a green light to climb higher. A lot of men who are trying to climb within the ladder in that world, first of all, there are people that there are agents in place to ensure they don't climb. And they face a lot of problems as well on the way. You know, we done the show about when someone wrote in for the Yo Noble about being in the staff room and feeling isolated and all of that. Man, you have to get through all of that. Look how much man just don't work on it. Think about it. So there's a lot to be discussed around the workplace. I don't think it's black and white like that. Even though a lot of people want to make it like that, it is not that.
Higher than boys. That's literally the widest gender gap in the entire country.
Zulia, break it down.
More than half of Caribbean girls go to university, but for boys, it's just a third. So the question is, what's really happening in boys? This didn't just start today. From the 60s, early 80s, many Caribbean boys were wrongly labelled educationally. So they were placed in special education, they were written off unintelligent, and they were stripped of opportunity. And this was systematic. This was racist, and it planted a seed of low expectations that still affects Caribbean boys today. When I spend time in the barbershop, so my barbershop is...
Listen to this part, people.
What I hear people say is that barbershops are where they get their real education. And yes, you can learn things from the barbershop. However, at a basic level, there is a barrier to entry that a lot of different workplaces have because you need a degree or a qualification. I'm not saying that's for everyone, but it definitely is a barrier to entry in some fields. But that distrust of the education system is still there. Because
now, let me pause it. I can only speak from my personal experience, yeah? But Noble, school was rough, man.
Hella rough.
You feel like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know when you're going through school, you almost go through like where you start to rebel, like you start to dislike the system.
Yeah.
And a lot of man, I was like that, Noble. Like it took me years, if I was to really tell, man, from school, there was a lot of PTSD. I didn't want nothing. I never wanted to go to, like you're in point A. You don't want to go to point D with them because they can pull you back to point A. So you'd rather stay at point A, and when you're ready, you move to point B. You see where I'm coming from? Because throughout school, a man might box you in your face. You box him back, you're in trouble. Like I said, when I was younger in school, a man can just say, yo, my man robbed me. Feds can come for you and everything, and you've got to hold it. And what I'm saying is a lot of us had PTSD from that. And that's why a lot of us have underachieved. I'm keeping it real. A lot of us haven't gone uni and all of that because of those reasons. We don't want to be a part of anything. We don't want to be a part of nothing because we remember how it was in school and we don't want to be up under them, man, again. I'm keeping it real. What would you say?
It's the lived experience, those trauma anchors, that the lack of guidance, having literally 3 teachers personally in my school who actually wanted to teach young males and females and help them find their way in society, whereas the rest of them were literally there to have a social life and to get paid. And then being original, any indigenous person, anything that happens, yo, it's noble, yo. They got the back to the classroom, but something happens, yo, noble, come out. 3 weeks, you can't come back into the something. So you have these things, you're like, yo, so if I'm in school and I'm getting treated like this, if I then go to college and then go to university, even though, pardon self, they are saying to you, these teachers, you're a young man, you should be acting like a adult and stuff, like a young adult kind of thing. But then when you try and do that, is hold your station, you can't talk to me like that. You can't check me and say, hold up, Mr. Teacher, Mrs. Teacher, provide me some additional work to do, because I've completed it all in the lesson, to the point where you've got to run around for 45 minutes every day after school to try and get extra work to excel. So you're trying to push yourself and the school's holding you back. Nah, Noble, you don't need no extra homework. Oh, but I finished it. So these are the things that specifically with the black males, because they yelled them, they weren't targeting the yell them like that. There was in the lower classes, there was hardly any young girls who were original in that. It was all the West Indian lads, yeah. A couple of the white lads, they were there in the lower something. Us as black males, unfortunately, are a target. The women look at us and think they're gonna grow up and be a black man. I'm scared. The indigenous teachers of a male persuasion are looking and saying, he in 5 years could take my wife.
Facts.
He in 6 years could have me out. He could have my job.
Facts. So that what happens? What I notice is there was a brother in my school. My head teacher, and he used to try and break brothers. Like I'm talking, he used to try and break brothers. Real talk, real break. And I'll give you as an example of what my man did me. Facts. So he got a youth, an indigenous youth, to say I boxed him, like I beat him. And the youth went into the office, Noble, and stood up in there and said, my man beat me up. Noble, God is my witness, I didn't even book the youth anywhere, but it's like the head teacher said, say that. And I remember just saying, you ain't even got, there's no marks on him or nothing, there's no evidence. How can you just say that and believe it? That's like me saying, yo, I just sing Jesus Christ.
Come on.
You know what I mean? How can you take man's word over mine? So I remember just thinking, this is long. I don't want to be in you man's system. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be involved in what you man, because this is school. What happens if this goes on in the workplace?
Come on, Mark.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of man just haven't tried, full stop. But then a lot of man, it's that. You see what I mean? We got to keep this thing 1,000 people.
3 times more likely to be excluded from school. So they're still misunderstood. They're still overlooked.
Hey, pause it there,
That's why
Mark.
it's so important for mothers.
Yeah.
So just to horseback on what your experience was, again, pardon self, siblings, let me draw from my experience in a very similar situation. Oh, yo, a youth's being disrespectful who is younger than you. You clap him and then you go about your business, and then 20 minutes later you come and he's just there lying on the thing like he's knocked out and thing. and then next thing you know, ambulance comes and they're saying, yo, Noble, you gotta go see the headmaster.
Indigenous.
Like, Indigenous.
Come on, it's the same tricks, Noble, around the whole UK.
They've got a playbook. They give a playbook.
Playbooks.
And they said, yo, when this happens, you do this. Like for the girl, them, they just turn on the waterworks. Yeah. For the youth, them, they just lie down. Yeah, man, you did this to me. So look, fast forward, I'm saying, not a Nagwan. I've got this person who was with me. I got that person who was with me. His friends that were there. I didn't do that. Oh, okay. Well, the ambulance has taken him away and we're calling the police. Cut a long story short, man no longer in the school no more. Permanent exclusion, sibling.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's how they get you. Because to be honest, that situation, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I remember just saying, yo, you man are really against us, innit? Like, I remember seeing it, and then when I'm seeing these youths that are fighting amongst one another and all that, and I'm like, they can't even see what's going on. That's why I always use that analogy, the glasses on, because it was like that film. It's like I'm seeing the real mission, a man are fighting amongst one another, And I'm saying, wow. And even to this day, you got idiots that believe that that's like the way to be. Saying, let's go into this chat real quick. Aisha, everything starts from the family. We have to make a link between lack of fathers, poor educational achievement, interracial dating, and no culture being taught in the home. Caribbean men do not try. That's why they don't achieve. No, but there are facts in that. There are facts in that because, like we've explained before, there's a lot of misplaced words. Like the word bad actually means good in our community,
Come on.
to the point where there's a lot of vicious cycles of people that live a degenerate lifestyle, promote a degenerate culture. And when they reproduce, it's a vicious cycle. Not all the time, but when they reproduce, that youth 9 times out of 10 goes into what they believed. Oh, that's cool. Carrying guns, selling drugs. Oh, that's cool. Remember, mans are programmed. I've told you before, the movies and that. Yeah, man, things are hard out here, dog. I had to go and see Poppy. Got onto the boat, got onto the yacht. He cuts the coke, touches it, puts it a bit under his tongue. Look at all them rappers. Times were hard back in the day. I had to hit the strip. You never hear a man saying times were hard. I had to go and learn a skill. You never hear
Get the
that
fuck
here.
out of here, man.
You never hear
Please.
that.
Please, get the fuck
But
out
you'll
of here,
hear,
man.
and then there's a lot of glorification. Yo, back in the day, it was me and the mans, you know, when I was rolling with the Shut
Get the
up, man.
fuck out of here, man.
Shut
Please.
up, man. That don't
Please,
mean
get
you're
the
bad.
fuck out of here,
That
man.
mean I ain't coming out of my children's life. You crazy? I ain't doing that. I've got the baton right now. See what I mean? And I'm gonna run with it. And when it's my time to go, I go. But with this knowledge, I'm gonna pass it on. But I'm not only passing on knowledge, Noble. I'm passing over money too.
Come
I'm
on.
passing over property too.
Come on.
Zulia, that's for the stats. Asia, I understand the history about schools putting black boys in lower sets on purpose, but currently, Caribbean's men position is based on effort. Noble, excellent point. However, there is a build in the system to cap the level of a black man.
Come on. Come on.
Zulia, agree, Aisha. Zulia, nah. Both black groups are the lowest in the UK for top school leaving grades. Aisha, black men assimilate better into the workspace. They discuss football, go to the pub, and date the same women. Usually, I don't really see many black men are economically inactive. I think you've got a typo there. But no, that's fact. She's talking about them cast pennants. You know, she's talking about them cast pennants. Yeah, that's what she's on about. Like, them man do fit in because it's like, yeah, man, the lads, man, you know, we
Yes.
play the game of football, man, and Villa, man. Nah, man. D42, trust me, this happens to girls. If we go to school with a lot of indigenous and you are in the minority. Yeah, my sisters used to say that because they went to schools like myself and they used to say, all right. But I'm saying, yeah, it's rough for you guys as well, but you guys can climb, is what we're getting at.
This is it.
That's what we're getting at. Aisha, Caribbean men and women grow in the same households in their youth. So why are many women excelling and men are not? Zulia said, Aisha, they are not excelling. Chinese and Irish women are. A group of women with over 50% single mom and highest rate never married ain't excelling. A lot of the women that are not in relationships and things of that nature have decorated careers. And then the ones who are in relationships with families and stuff don't have it.
Yes.
It's almost like a choice. There's not a lot who have both. And not a lot of the new women have both. Like a lot of them in today's world, because of all this 50-50 thing and all of that, it's ruined a lot of things. Like, have you watched, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, Mark, why are you watching this? But it's all entertainment, as you know. Have you watched Pop the Balloon UK?
No.
If any of you guys in the chat, they've got that Pop the Balloon now in UK. In the UK, I watched the first episode yesterday, and there's a sister on there who's just like, I need money. I need money. Like any man I'm with, like, I need money. And I'm like, yo, why are you, this is the thing, this is the problem, this is the issue. You see what I'm saying? This is the issue with this, because the family structure, I've always said it time after time, but the family structure is the most important thing to push us forward. A lot of men ain't growing up in that, and a lot of women ain't growing up in that. but a lot of women are able to avoid the traps of the road or whatever the case. But a lot of these boys glorify it. Like, listen to them actually talk, Noble. Even when they say they're reformed, they are still glorifying it. Even when they say they're still glorifying nonsense, and they actually think that because they've been involved in a life of crime, it makes them any more dangerous than the person who's not. Like, that's the problem with Brom. Like, a dude who's from Chelmsley Wood is no weaker than a dude who's from Aston or Lascelles. Zulia, being most likely to die during childbirth ain't excelling, respectfully. Yeah, I've heard that before still.
That's hospital. That's
Yeah.
hospital issues. What's the word? I'm like, you know.
No, it's an issue on the hospital, but what I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Zulia is trying to say is we can't be excelling if we're not in a position that don't happen. Because like, no, it's like this. Like my Asian brethren's, yeah. When my Asian brethren was buying his house, he got an interest-free mortgage.
Because they got that thing set up, sibling. Come on, just like them other
That's
people.
that's what Zulia's saying. You see what I'm saying? That's what Zulia's trying to say. Zulia's trying to say, like, you can't be excelling if you've got the highest, because you haven't addressed an issue that affects you. If there's no power, if we can't implement the power, there's no power.
Yes, it's individual.
Yeah.
It's not collective. We don't have collective power, and that's
Thank
what
you.
the difference is.
Thank you.
We can have shining examples of successful Caribbean, African people, but in regards to a conglomerate, though, all of those coming together and saying, like, how many times have we suggested certain little different things? Man, I'm putting together a little 10 grand here, 10 grand here. I'm making something happen.
Yeah.
They don't do it. They stay in their silo and they say, look, I've come from Aston still. You know what I mean? I come from a single parent household and I worked hard, Mark and Noble. What's what these other people them? Why can't they do what I did? Why do I need to come back in here, put my boiler suit on, put the Wellingtons on, and go step in the muck and the mire to go help these people? Why can't they help themselves?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's very true. All right, Xavier, as a British Caribbean black man that currently works in a corporate workspace,
Come with it.
I can easily say school never helped or encouraged me to get to where I am right now. Xavier, that is facts, because that's what happened to me. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I really embraced this world earlier. See what I mean? Where I didn't just try and keep it to certain things, like if I opened up my horizons, I didn't do it. But school, it's like there was a lot of agents of chaos in school that were there that we didn't open it up. They were there to break your cloth.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what they were there to do. And Nuffman did break still. Nuffman went the other way and decided to bring that venom back into the community. And them kind of man, I'm totally against them kind of guys.
Always
You know
have
what I
been,
mean?
always will.
Always will be. Aisha, Caribbean men are insecure. A lot of them don't try look at the rates of being section and suicide. These men are clearly going through it and feel invisible. Yeah, that's a fact, Aisha. There is a lot of men going through it because we're in a system where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if you go back into my day, there was a lot of black boys that were toying with the idea, what do I do? You know, do I go on the road? Do I try to make it in this world? But you got a fight from all angles. You're warring with black lost souls. There's a lot of lost black souls that are there to
Way too
ruin
many.
the ones. Someone commented the other day on the channel. They called it low hanging fruit.
Oh shit.
That's what they called it. They called it low hanging fruit, and it's the truth. There's a lot of low hanging fruit, and a lot of men have been stuck between a rock and a hard place, and haven't known what direction to move in. Zulia, yeah, because they often don't even have a dad who cared enough to be in their life. Zulia, that's a complex one, because there is a lot of women, have we spoken about recently, who would just say, you're not seeing him, or they'll say, jump through hoops of fire to see him. And you may do that. I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I'm talking from experience. If your baby mother don't want you to see your child, you're not going to see him. That's a fact. And if you can fight, I'm not saying that you can't fight and go to court and do all of that, but there's nobody to hold the mom accountable if she breaks the court order, realistically. And if you're someone who's not financially literate, then who's to say you've got the spare money lying around anyway to keep going court?
This is
And
the point.
at the minute, in that type of court case situation, it can take you up to 6 months to get a date, Noble. So
That's ridiculous.
there's a lot of men whose mental health is also at risk by entertaining that. So there's a lot of fatherless homes, but that's because there is genuinely men who get up and say, I'm never coming back, I'm leaving, I don't want this responsibility. But there is genuinely women also that say, the relationship, I'm unhappy how the relationship turned out. I'm now angry, you're not seeing him. And that's it. And that child, he can never get back. Your son, daughter, or whatever can never get back the years you weren't in their life. They can never get it back. And it also puts a distrust of you to them. That's a major problem. How can they feel good knowing that? Xavier, how did you overcome this? Santo, I got targeted in school too. They sent me to the wall just for walking on the playground. Yeah, school was a mazza for a lot of us, man. A lot of us went through it in school, man. Like, real talk. Like, school was a lot of men lost their spark then.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of men.
Pardon self. This is why I label it the miseducation and fooling system, because this is exactly, unfortunately, this is exactly what that it's designed to do, is to take that spark from you, to take that why, where, how, those questions as we have as children, that's stripped away because they want to put us into this mold. Oh, you're one of them. Oh, you're Jamaican. Okay, yeah. I've already got the stereotype in my mind because I'm a teacher and I've got a life and I know you're a little child and you haven't seen life. So then they put all of that onto you. You've lost from day dot. So as soon as you walk in there, outside of, as I say, the small handful of teachers who say, no, I chose this profession, irregardless of race, color, creed, and all the rest of it, to help children to make a better future, because that's what school's supposed to be for.
Facts. That's what it's meant to be for, but it's not. And a lot of people are able to project their hate onto young black men, especially in indigenous areas, especially because I went to an indigenous school mainly. Xavier, this is beautiful now what Xavier says here. Zulia asked him how he overcome what he went through in school to enter the corporate arena. And Xavier said, my family and my social circle, a group of Caribbean black men that are 90s babies, we hold each other accountable and strive for more. And that's a beautiful thing, just like Zulia said, because that's how we grow. You got to hold a man accountable. You have to. You know how much man I know, I'm talking about my own blood, who have wasted years and years and years in prison. They could have been anything, but they've wasted so much time simply because they weren't held accountable. When you're held accountable, that's when you can learn and grow. If you're not, and you keep getting away with things, eventually that crash will come. Zulia responded and said Xavier's got sensible and cultured people. Xavier said Caribbean men need a space, a community of knowledge, encouragement, and accountability, whether that's from family, friends, or mentorship. Aisha said, why did Caribbean men not create their own system and build up their own community and not give up? Deficit mindset. That is a good point, but we came here, we've said it many a time still. We came here as workers and we didn't step out of that role. And that's what it is. Some man did. A few did, but no, but we've always said, and that's why I thought it was important to bring my dad on. That's a man who's had a shop in town over 30 years. Is it over 30 years? No, I'm exaggerating. Over 20 years, easily. And the wider reason I always bring him up is because I'm saying one man can only be one man. You get it? One man cannot change a community. One man can encourage a community, but if there's no group economics, there is no growth, and there will be no building of spaces or none of that. And we have to first highlight what the problems are. And some people refuse to grow and change. We got to separate from that kind of individual.
Yeah.
Simple.
And build back the trust, I think, because of historical things, because of family something, and because of the Willie Lynch chip, which is still installed into many original folks' brains, we don't trust each other. We don't. Okay, your turnover's 550,000, mine's 450. Okay, yeah. We could work together still, but I don't know, You're from Clarendon still, you know what I mean? I'm country still. I don't really mess with you. Huh?
We're always divided, Noble. So it's like we come from an island to the UK. We come into the UK. I'm going to speak about Brum. We come into Brum. It's always going to be wherever you put us. You can put us on a desert island. It's going to be when you come back 5 years later. There's going to be one half of the island. That's the north side, and there's going to be another side of the island. We just seem to have a what's the correct word? A tribal mindset.
Yes, but everyone has a tribal mindset, but it's how our tribal mindset is manifested.
Yes, exactly, and that's what goes wrong.
Because it's fine, because we can look across all cultures, religious, and nations, and we can see that there's pockets of differences within that.
Facts.
And they're working to potentially cross-working when necessary, but they're still holding it down. It's an uphill battle, but it's got to start somewhere. And your pops will continue to be a shining light to the community. And all it takes is someone to stumble across the thing, to go there and hold up. My man's been here for all this damn time. I don't see any other people in this space in the center of Brum. Okay, well established. Maybe I can. What jewel can I get from that? It sparks a lot of things, but we can't put it down and say, okay, as a result of this interaction, this was spawned. You know what I mean? And again, we're hella quiet with it. Man don't want to talk the thing. Like, yo, this brother inspired me to do the thing. It's a weird thing. As I said last week, I'm forever trying to give people their jewels and their flowers. Quote unquote. Facts. If you've given me if you've given me an idea, an opportunity, some laughter, some entertainment, whatever it is, I'm going to thank you for that.
Facts.
Publicly, privately, and all the rest of it. Whereas, man, it's all me still, Mark. I don't know, man, no one helped me still. Yeah, come on. Someone helped you at some point. You had an idea at some point. You know what I mean?
Real talk. Santo, the bad man walk. Yeah, badmanism's finished, man. It's done. I keep telling these guys, man, it's over. All that holding on to when you had your little burner back in the day and them glory days, what you call glory days, it's over, mate. It's over. And it's never coming back.
Never.
So you can keep telling tales of when I robbed this bank back in the day, and when I did this, and when I did that. And now what do you have to show? Nothing.
Come on.
D42. Go through Noble.
I was going to say no house, no car. No coherent and cohesive family.
No travel.
What are we talking about? Huh?
Facts. No travel. Nothing. Just sitting down in the indigenous system waiting for a handout. D42. I had a female teacher get another girl, an indigenous girl, to say I stole something. Later, the girl admitted it wasn't true. The teacher was vexed. These are the kind of games that get played. So it was mad in school, Santo. It's not just black people this happens to. Agreed, Xavier. D42 said that it's not just black people this happens to. Aisha. No, Zulia, Aisha, I agree, but I had a strong male guidance. Aisha, they must have someone, even an uncle or something, to guide them. Western, watching too much television for some of them, man. Shakiri's laughing. I don't know what we was joking about there. Saying systems are not random. They are put in place and perpetuated by some of the smartest minds. It's by design. Saying that's a fact. Noble's got a saying, we're in the brains of the beast and the man's in the States are in the belly. You got to remember that this island ran practically the whole world at one point.
It's still, Mark,
yeah.
I'll say we because we're here. Yeah. We're still running it, boss.
Yeah, man. 1,000. And this is what I'm saying, but you got to think about the minds that put that in place.
Yes.
And the kind of things that these men used to have. But they did. They had a thing during World War II where they'd put out certain little info that was tailored a certain way. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yes, that's the word. That's the word, Noble.
Come on.
saying if those people have a bias, this is the outcome. Xavier, yeah, I saw it. D42. I actually think my teachers hated the fact that I came from a 2-parent household,
Yes.
while a lot of the indigenous kids didn't. I remember watching a girl called Renee, Miss Fabulous, and she was on one vlog, and she was saying, "Yo, you see me, yeah? If anything violates my youth, yeah, I'm gonna go down to that school. I'm a mad smarty. I'm crazy. I'm mad." And I commented it and I said, "The indigenous love you.
Innit?
They love you. They can't wait to see you come to the school because all they're gonna say is, 'Oh my God, you threatened me, police.'
Come on.
That's it.
Systemize them.
Police.
Systemize them even
And then you know
further.
what happens? You're banned from the school. You know how much parents I've seen get banned from the school?
Which it's Mark. I've never even only until recent I've heard of things like that because obviously growing up, we our parents would come. Sometimes there might be some raised voices, but I'd never hear anything about parents getting banned and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's the mindset. Obviously, it's children having children, babies having babies. Now we can even go one step further. It's 3-4 generations of single parents sucking off the titty of the system that we're paying how much damn tax into to support these people then. It's a never-ending cycle.
Facts. Aisha, Zulia. No, Aisha's talking to Zulia. We are talking about education and economics. Aisha, the fix is simple. Caribbean men need to marry black women, whether African or Caribbean, and get a job or build a business, raise a family, and instill knowledge in them. Facts. It's facts. Santo, it's not simple. No. Facts. It's not simple, but it is simple for man. Like, because if you follow that path, you're caught. Obviously, if you pass certain milestones in age, you're going to need to do things quicker. But if you're a youth at 18, usually, let's say most man, you're one of the few exceptions as well, Noble. Let's say you meet your woman at 15. Most men don't go the duration with that woman.
You know what I mean?
But some man, it will be like, you'll meet a girl 17, you might get to 21 with her. She starts to change, you start to change. Then you got a next woman, you might get to 27 with her. Then you might get up into your 30s. That's when you meet your life partner, or your first one might be there forever.
Yes.
You just don't know. Western custody battles are mentally, emotionally, and financially draining for sure. But many people will play the system to their advantage too. Treacherous times, facts. The system gets played a lot still. But I always tell men, though, like, especially men, use the system more, man. Like, I'm so glad I got out of that way of thinking of like, nah, I'll utilize the system if I have to.
You have to.
Facts. I'll utilize it, mate, because I pay them a lot in tax. A lot. So we will utilize it. You see what I mean? Because we ain't paying them for nothing.